Welcome to this presentation focused on shots and goals in the NHL during empty net situations in regular season games between the 2007-08 and 2023-24 seasons. In this video, we'll explore how teams and individual players behave when the opposing side pulls their goalie in an effort to tie the game. We'll look at both team and player statistics to understand how often and from where shots are taken on an empty net. Let's begin by examining the evolution of empty net shot attempts. Between 2007 and 2011, the number of shots remained relatively stable. Teams were not frequently opting for the extra attacker, which meant fewer opportunities for opponents to shoot at an unguarded net. After the shortened 2012-13 season, we saw a noticeable increase in shot attempts. Teams began to take more risks and pulled their goalies more often, leading to more chances to shoot at the empty net. In the 2019-20 and 2020-21 seasons, there was a decline in shot volume, largely due to the COVID-19 pandemic. These seasons were not played in full, and teams played fewer games. Since the 2021-22 season, when the league returned to a full schedule, there has been a significant rise in empty net shot attempts. Teams are now pulling their goalies earlier, giving opponents more time and opportunities to shoot. Next, let's look at where these shots are coming from. In the 2007-08 and 2008-09 seasons, the fewest attempts came from the neutral zone. This can be attributed to the rink layout changes introduced in the 2005-06 season, which expanded the offensive and defensive zones and reduced the size of the neutral zone. Teams were still adapting to this change. From the 2009-10 season through 2017-18, shot distribution was fairly balanced, with roughly one-third of attempts coming from each zone. However, starting in 2017-18, we observed a decline in neutral zone attempts and an increase in shots from the offensive and defensive zones. Teams began simplifying their transition through the neutral zone, relying less on passing plays and more on dumping the puck in and battling for possession, which reduced turnovers. Looking at shooting success by zone across the entire period from 2007-08 to 2023-24, we find that the success rate from both the offensive and defensive zones is quite similar. In the neutral zone, the success rate is lower, likely due to the higher concentration of players who can block the shot. Overall, 2 out of every 3 shots on an empty net result in a goal. Now let's turn to individual statistics. Leading the way in empty net goals is Alex Ovechkin, who holds a significant lead over other players. His consistent presence in these situations reflects the trust placed in him by Washington's coaching staff. Interestingly, Alexander Barkov, known as one of the league's top defensive centers, has only 9 empty net goals, which may come as a surprise. When we look at the number of shot attempts, Ovechkin is again at the top. The top 10 goal scorers are nearly identical to the top 10 in shot attempts, with a few exceptions. Tyler Seguin and Steven Stamkos made the scoring list thanks to their high volume of attempts. The pattern is clear: more shots lead to more goals. It's also interesting to examine where individual players tend to shoot from. In the offensive zone, the most frequent shooters are Blake Wheeler, Alex Ovechkin, and Brad Marchand. From the defensive zone, Sebastian Aho leads with more than half of his attempts coming from that area. He's followed by Patrice Bergeron and Sidney Crosby. In the neutral zone, Zach Parise and Tyler Seguin are the most active. Returning to team statistics, we'll now look at which teams most frequently shot at an empty net and which teams most often faced such shots. In the charts, results for the Atlanta Thrashers and Winnipeg Jets are combined due to the franchise relocation and name change. Among the teams that most often shot at an empty net are Washington, Carolina, and Pittsburgh, clubs that consistently performed well during the period. At the bottom of the list are New Jersey, Montreal, and Detroit. Edmonton and Toronto are notable cases. Despite their offensive talent, both teams experienced stretches of poor performance during these years. As for teams that most frequently faced shots on their empty net, Buffalo Sabres top the list, which aligns with their long-standing struggles. Colorado Avalanche come in second, which may be surprising given their recent success, but between 2007 and 2016, they went through a difficult period. At the other end of the spectrum, Anaheim Ducks allowed the second fewest empty net shots, excluding Vegas and Seattle, who didn't participate in the league for the full duration of the study. This concludes our brief look at empty net play in the NHL, focusing on shot attempts and goals. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the presentation, feel free to leave a comment or rating. Welcome to this presentation focused on shots and goals in the NHL during empty net situations.